Well, good afternoon, everyone. Chuka guy here, and we're just taking an afternoon ride on our way into work. And just gonna talk about a couple of recent events, recent astronomical events. Just a few days ago, we had an asteroid, 2012 4 AD, I'm not sure if that's right. And the other event, which happened, I believe it was the day before the one asteroid we just mentioned crossed near the Earth. But that was the meteorite which slammed into a portion of Russia. And if you haven't looked at any of the videos of that meteorite, get onto YouTube and just do a search for Russian meteorite. There's some pretty incredible videos on there. A couple of the most impressive were video taken from dash cams in a couple of vehicles. And at least one of the people, as I recall, was on their way to work early in the morning and had his dash cam running, and it's a very dramatic video of the asteroid entering the atmosphere and streaking across the sky diagonally in front of him. And I think I read someplace where for a brief period the asteroid, as it was partially burning up in the Earth's atmosphere, actually became almost brighter than the sun. Some other videos just show the effects and from the blast, from the sonic booms, basically the shock wave blowing out thousands and thousands of windows. And the last I heard, there was something like 11 or 1,200 people injured. Luckily, no one has died, but a lot of the people were injured and cut by falling shards of glass and debris. And really, most of the damage was caused by the shock wave of this meteorite. They think the meteorite actually crashed into or splashed down, I guess, into a nearby lake. And I guess they have divers actually looking for fragments of the meteorite. But that meteor, they estimated it was probably 50 to 60 feet in diameter and had a pretty good sized mass to it. I forget how many tons, a couple hundred tons. And it was estimated that it was traveling at somewhere between 50 and 60,000 miles per hour. So it was really moving. And some of the videos there on YouTube, you can hear multiple sonic booms from this thing, obviously breaking the sound barrier at that speed. And of course, these sonic booms and shock waves are what caused most of the damage. And this, again, was just a chunk of rock, maybe only 50, 60 feet diameter. I mean, that's still pretty good size. But the asteroid that flew by the Earth, I believe like the next day, that asteroid came within 16,000 and 17,000 miles of the planet, and astronomical terms, that is extremely close. and it certainly flew within the orbit of a lot of our geosynchronous satellites and other satellites, but apparently it didn't hit any. But that asteroid was, and I don't know, various estimates at 300 to 500 feet in diameter, and weighed something like 160 to 170 tons. So it was like 3 times, easily, I think 3 times larger than the meteorite which crashed into Russia. And that meteorite that crashed into Russia had the force of 20 Hiroshima-sized atomic bombs, just to give you some idea of the amount that that meteorite, again 50 to 60 feet in diameter, caused. But the asteroid was probably traveling at a similar speed, and it was at probably easily 3 times bigger than the meteorite. And I got to thinking, and by the way, that asteroid was just discovered, and I believe it was February 23rd of 2012, just approximately a year ago. And so, you know, it was fairly recently discovered. And I got to wondering, what if, after they discovered the asteroid, what if they had calculated that that asteroid was actually going to impact the Earth? In other words, it was not going to be a near miss or anything. It was going to hit. And then, of course, as time would go on, and they would be able to more accurately predict the impact. But I started thinking, all right, what if that asteroid were to hit a major metropolitan area, a major metropolitan city? I don't know, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Paris, London. Obviously something of that size, and it would probably be, I think I read someplace it would have 200 times, at least 200 times the force of that meteorite that fell into Russia. But I started thinking, let's say that the calculations predicted that hypothetically this was going to impact in the center of Los Angeles. And it's like, you know, we just don't have the technology, or a year is certainly not enough time to really do anything about it. So you'd have to, you know, probably within a month, you would have to evacuate several million people from the Los Angeles area. So all the ramifications would be fairly significant. And you'd have to have police and National Guard out there to, once you got most of the people removed, and of course there'd probably be some that would want to stick it out. But, you know, to guard against looters and things like that. But the force of the explosion, if it were to hit an impact in the center of Los Angeles somewhere, it would just completely, I think, devastate the entire area. You know, I don't know, maybe 50 square miles or something. I don't know. It would just be unprecedented. And it would destroy everything. You know, no electricity, No infrastructure, no water, no sewers, nothing. It would level it. So all the people that would evacuate, and of course anybody that would still be living there, probably, I'd have to guess, unless they were in a bomb shelter or something, they would probably be killed. And even those that would survive would probably come up to a leveled apocalyptic scene. But it would, after the impact and everything, all the destruction, it would probably be months, if not a year or more, to rebuild things where people could go in and live again. And of course, people that own houses and businesses and everything else like that, they would be, there'd be probably nothing left. So, and that's not particularly a huge asteroid. I mean, it wouldn't cause global destruction, but the ramifications that it could destroy an entire city like Los Angeles, it's pretty sobering. And like I said, this asteroid was just discovered barely a year ago. And right now we just don't have any technology to deal with anything like that. I recently sent out an article to Suburban Writer, who featured it in one of his TDY reports a couple weeks ago. But NASA had this idea of maybe they could lasso a asteroid, maybe only of a certain type and size, and then somehow pull it out of the way, or pull it off enough where it could wouldn't impact the Earth. But the thing with that is, depending on the size of the asteroid, even if you could put some kind of a huge cable or something like that around there, you've got to have some kind of a propulsion force strong enough to tug it a little bit out of the way, or enough to it wouldn't impact the Earth. So anyway, it's all kind of interesting, and I think the comparisons between that meteorite that hit Russia and if that asteroid that went zipping by very, very close to Earth, you think about the two, it's like, man, it's all pretty interesting. Anyway, we're just about at work, so this is Wachuca Guy. Thanks for going along for the ride, and hope it gives you all something to think about. This is Wachuca Guy, and we'll see you all further down the road.